Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us here today at the Sunshine Cathedral via the website. And we want to welcome you to our worship services whenever you're in the Fort Lauderdale area. If you are in the area, we invite you to worship with us on Sunday mornings at 9 and 10:30 a.m. We're located at 1480 Southwest 9th Avenue. And for those who watch us weekly on the internet, we invite you to check our website often for other listings and programming that we might have that may be of interest to you. And for now, I invite you to come in and worship with us here at the Sunshine Cathedral.
Well, we have Share in the Chair again. We'll be doing that through Advent, where we'll be talking with people at this part of the service about the theme of the day. And those things are given to us here in Advent. The first Sunday is Hope Sunday, and then Peace, and then Joy, and then Love. And so to talk about hope today is our executive minister, Reverend Dr. What's your name? Robert Griffin. I kept wanting to call him Mrs. Claus for some reason. Gary Lane asked earlier if we had to rent those costumes. I said, no, they're ours. Anyway, so hope. Hope is what Robert's going to tell us about. So I have just a few questions for you. Because the truth is, you're probably the most optimistic person I've ever met. We met in 1996 in theology school, and way back when we were young and thin and pretty, and now we're well educated. But no, we met way back when, and just even then, I mean, just you were not only kind and curious, but just extremely optimistic. And then throughout our lives together and throughout our ministries together, when my hope is waning, I often draw from yours. You're inspiring with how not only you emanate hope and you inspire others to find and embrace their hope. How do you do it? I mean, I've known you since 1996. Where does this hope come from? How is it that you always have enough to see you through and even some to share with others?
I asked for the questions in advance.
Well, that's the first one.
Okay. I think when I hear that question, the thing that comes to my mind is actually something that my mother taught me as a kid growing up, and that was always to be hopeful. For those who don't know, I may have said this often, you may have not heard me say it before, but I'm actually the last of 14 siblings in my family. And that brought within itself a certain amount of hope within the family. But also, I was born and raised at the end of a dirt road in a 4-room house with a tin roof. I know all about our houses and going to the well to get water. So don't let all this fool you. Just say it. But she always said to me about being hopeful. Whatever situation you find yourself in, baby, just remember there's someone who is always worse off than you. So be very thankful for what you have and be very grateful for what you have, and always be hopeful that those who are less fortunate than you are, that you, and she always kind of threw back to me, that you can do something to help someone else along the way. So even as a young kid, that thing about hope really came from my mother. That she was very hopeful, she was very forward-looking, and to raise me as the baby of 14 kids, she was very hopeful that I didn't stray. Yeah.
No, and her kids all turned out pretty great.
Well.
You the best, certainly. But you talked about the other night, and Reverend Ann had a film, the Last Men Standing, about people who had become HIV positive in the 80s, and they're still here. Some of them not doing as well, but they're still around. And you told your story at the end of that about being diagnosed in the 86 and still being here. How much did hope play in your survival? Because I remember when I met you, there were still monotherapies, and they weren't very promising, and so you were having to live basically on hope before there were even good medicines yet. So how did hope contribute to your healthy living all these years?
Finding hope in the midst of a kind of a war zone with HIV and AIDS is very different, because you didn't know what was going to happen from the next day to the, from day to day in those early days. I tested positive in '86. I was on active duty in the military, and that within itself was a whole different scenario altogether. But to be hopeful in that situation when, friends literally were dying day and night, you woke up the next morning, you didn't know who was going to be there, who wasn't going to be there. So it really was just a time that we found ways to go within and find hope just to go from day to day, because you just didn't know what was going to happen. A lot of things was uncertain back that day, and so again, going back to my mother, drawing strength on that hope that she instilled in me, just hope for the best and keep moving forward, and don't let the present situation